Hey Al, you're on my computer. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Cool. Are those transitional lenses?
Yes. So basically, I can see with them, but they also kind of shine me from like this artificial sun that we have going on in the studio.
Got it. And are you still in the same studio?
I am, but in a different room. Oh. Dude, you got a good memory.
Yeah, I do.
That's why you play the smart guy, which is what we're going to get to right now.
All right,
so,
great.
First of all, this movie, I'm excited about Morbius. There's a lot of buzz going on. A lot of these comic book movies get a huge promotional push, and this movie has as well. But this movie also has a lot of buzz about being, heavy, packs a punch, not for the faint of heart. Is there, how is the cast feeling and, the producers and the writers and directors feeling about this project? Do you guys?
I think everyone feels really good about it. I actually am in touch. I made good friends with the writers on set. So it was Art Markham and Matt Holloway, and we hung out a bunch and are still in touch. And they're in London right now working on Kraven the Hunter, I believe.
Ooh.
And so there was a London event that they just missed, but they heard that it went incredibly well. And so that's the only sort of contact I've had with the movie people, because it has been a long time. It's been pushed.
Yeah.
COVID had this thing. It was supposed to come out in July 31st of 2020. And then gets pushed and pushed again. So I think it's, finally here we are. So there's been a lot of anticipation from fans trying to put all of this together. And I'm one of them.
So I get excited about the Sony Spider-Man universe, and a lot of the villains that were Morbius, I think, premiered in the Spider-Man comic book. For some people that don't know, right? Am I correct in that? Were you aware of the character yourself?
Yeah, I was aware of the character, but not a reader of his, those particular books. And so, I caught myself up quickly when I started auditioning for it. But then, and was reading a bunch of comics while I was there in London, and Tyrese Gibson's character, Simon Stroud, is pulled from the comics, and Matt Smith's character is pulled from the comics. And obviously, it's with me being outside of that, I was left to sort of, chart my own path. So
right.
That was cool. So me and Daniel Espinosa, the director, sort of kept working on exactly who this guy was. And
look at you Latinos working together on a general market, big budget comic book film.
When have you ever said those words together?
I think that's the first time.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, I like the facts, some people might say that the whole comic book movie era might be coming to a close, since we're making all these movies on what some people, the casual fans, might perceive as fringe characters. But for me, I actually think that some of the gold is in these quote unquote fringe and lesser known characters, right?
I always loved all the fringe characters. I grew up seeking out the fringe characters. So and on the DC side, one of my favorite characters was Booster Gold. How funny.
Fought Superman.
Yeah. And he was always such a great comic character that worked with Blue Beetle a lot. And then, on the Avengers side, I'd gravitate towards, minor characters. I've always sort of sought out, these fringe characters. So like yourself, I'm excited about that. And I think the true comic book fans are. I mean, and there will always big blockbusters. So, there's always, when you look at Miles Morales and Spider-Man, there's always, people to take up the mantle for, the Iron Man suit will be worn by others.
Nice. All right. So you play Agent Rodriguez. Okay. Yes. Now, should people just expect, should audiences that know you expect you to be like the comic relief for an otherwise gritty film? Or are we seeing you do some dramatic chops, getting a little serious?
I hope there's a mix of both, and I love, with my career, I get to be a big over the top character in Night School with Kevin Ian Hart and Tiffany Haddish. And then I get to play a serious character in a dramatic role in The Way Back. And right. I feel like with certainly what I've shot, there's a mix of the two in Morbius. And so I'm not, again, I haven't even seen this. So I'm seeing it tonight for the very first time. So I hope that, it all makes it in there because I know I did have a lot of dramatic moments mixed with, some funny stuff that I improvised. I just don't know what made the cut.
There's just something, because I'm seeing it tonight as well for the first time at a press screening. I wish I could have seen it before this, but I know enough, and I saw the trailer. And when you pop on screen, I don't think you try to be funny, but you just kind of take everything in, and whatever comes out of your mouth, there's just that inherent, like maybe sarcasm or something that you maybe can't shake.
Well, that's what led me to being a stand-up comic. Lots of time when I walked on stage, and this actually sort of made me mad, is people would start laughing before I said anything. And I was like, hey, not cool. Like, that's not like, what's going on here? And so that really helped me. Then I always figured if I could string together some funny stories, I might have something, and it worked out.
Al, you're known as one of the most stringent defenders of stand-up comedy. You take the art form very seriously. Ironic because it's supposed to be funny, but you take it very seriously. So now that you have all this on your plate, you're acting in all these movies. You're actually writing some comic books, which I wanted to ask you about before we finish. Are you still doing stand-up?
Not really, not that much anymore. I had to something had to get sacrificed, and I prefer to watch Joe Millionaire on the couch with my 16-year-old while she's still around to going out and trying to tame a bunch of drunks. I would rather, I'm going to hang out with my kids as much as I possibly can until they leave the house. And then there's a chance. I think I got one more special in me.
Okay.
So, I'm doing all this other stuff, and I'm trying to write. I have a deal with CBS to write. And so, again, the fact that I get to do all this cool stuff, like act in this, big sort of Sony Marvel movie is crazy. I'm going to sort of concentrate on acting and writing as much as I possibly can.
And so, speaking on the writing and circling back to the comic books, you've been working on a comic book, right?
Correct. Yeah. Primos. And that's what's so cool about being in Morbius is like the fact that I love this world so much, and then actually being in it. I think a lot of comic book fans can empathize with, my situation. It's like, it's so surreal being a fan of comic books and ended up being in a comic book movie. I'm sure fans can just imagine how weird that is.
Awesome, man. Well, I can't wait to read it and then ultimately see it. Now, listen, it was great talking to you. Thanks for popping up on my computer, but I actually got to run. I'm going to go see Morbius.
Behind whatever that wall is.
Take it easy, Al.
All right. Later. See ya.